At the beginning of the film, we see the main character of the film, Jack. He is a weather scientist who works for a government organization. He researches the changes in the weather and related things. Later, we see Jack with his two colleagues in a snowy area. These people are taking samples of frozen snow there. But during this time, the frozen snow starts to break there. It breaks so much that it splits into two parts, and there a very deep trench is formed there. Later, Jack sees that the samples they had taken of the snow have been left on the other side of the trench. So, he goes to the other side to take the sample without thinking, after taking them, as he was about to jump back. Then due to the breaking of the snow, the ditch between the two sides increases even more, but still Jack is brave enough to jump to get back, but he can't reach there and goes down. Meanwhile, his colleagues see that Jack is still hanging there with a hook. Later, they pull Jack up at the right time. 3 of them are very surprised to see this scene. After this, we are shown Delhi City, where a conference on global warming of the government of all the countries was being held. Global warming means that there are many gases in the air, and due to these gases, the sun's rays collide with the earth. As a result, the temperature of the earth and the sky increases. There is also Jack here, who is telling everyone about the changing weather due to global warming. He says that the temperature of our land has been changing rapidly since some time, and if we do not do anything about it, then in the coming 100 years, all the glaciers will melt and merge with the sea, which will obviously change the weather. As if it will rain a lot somewhere, and there will be a lot of storms on other places, and in the north area where it snows, the temperature will fall more than the limit. And due to the fall of the temperature, everything in the world will start freezing. That is, everything will come under the cover of snow. Obviously, it will not leave any trace of life anywhere. On which the American president's colleagues and other people ignore him. But a man who was actually a scientist of the sea, he thinks Jack's words are true. Later, the weather of Delhi is shown, which was changing rapidly. Then we see the scientist of the sea with his research team in Scotland, who, keeping Jack's words in mind, researches on the changing weather, and then suddenly in Japan, huge pieces of snow start falling from the sky. Those pieces were so big that whoever they were falling on, they were all getting injured. Jack talks to his wife on the phone. He asks her about her and his son, whose name is Sam. After being upset, his wife says, "You are not giving us any time because of your new research." "Well, I wanted to tell you that our son Sam has participated in a competition, and this competition will be in New York, so, will you drop him off at the right time at the airport?" Jack promises her that yes, I will deliver Sam at the right time, don't worry at all. And then after a while, Jack leaves Sam at the airport. Then he is sitting with his friends on the plane, because these two have also participated in that competition. But then suddenly due to the storm, the plane starts shaking. As a result, all the passengers' luggage starts falling on them. Seeing this, everyone gets very scared, especially Sam, because he is very scared of traveling on a plane. Later, we see 2 scientists in space, who had gone there to research. They see that a very big storm of snow is approaching the Earth. Seeing that, they become very surprised. From there the scientist of the sea sees that the weather is getting worse in 3 places. There Sam and his friends reach New York, and when Sam looks at the sky, he finds that many birds are flying somewhere. This sounds very strange to Sam. He gets also very surprised. Well, these people reach the place where the competition was going to take place, where their first round is very good. After this, they take a break for some time. In this, these 3 meet a boy and become friends. The scientist of the sea calls Jack and says that whatever you said at the conference in Delhi was true, but you said that all these changes in the weather will happen in the next 100 years. But that is not the case. Those changes have already started. Because of the things you told me, I was doing research on it. I learned this through a research. After knowing this, Jack gets very scared, because they do not have much time to save the world. So, Jack asks his senior to make a model of a machine that will give information about the weather. Because through it, they'll learn about the weather and the precautions will be applied, which will reduce the chances of destruction. But for this, he clearly refuses senior Jack. Later, a very big storm comes in an area of America. As a result of this, there is so much destruction that 75% of the people are killed. Along with the senior, the President of America also learns about this. After this, the President refuses to fly the plane in the whole country. After knowing this, the senior understands that Jack was absolutely right. Because as Jack said, the weather was changing rapidly in the whole world, so now the senior tells Jack to quickly prepare the model. But to do this, Jack and his team are given only 48 hours. So, they immediately start making the model. Later, after 24 hours of continuous hard work, they find out that if they do not do anything quickly, then in about 6 to 8 weeks, everything will be over. So, they have to do something to save the people from this upcoming problem. After knowing this, Jack calls his son Sam and tells him to come back. On which Sam says that no plane is being flown here. So, I can't come back right now. Now, Jack shows all the information and reports to the President's call log that he collected. But this time too, he does not pay attention to what Jack says. Just like before, scientist sees that because of the change in weather everywhere, the temperature is falling very rapidly, and if it keeps on going like this, everything will freeze very soon. Then we see that due to this weather change in the north, a very fast storm of snow approaches there. In Scotland too, we see 3 helicopters flying, but due to this snowstorm, the helicopters are destroyed and fall down quickly, because while walking in the air, the snow froze on them, which also stopped the blades of the helicopter. After falling down, they all start freezing in the snow, and they die. Jack also receives the news of this bad weather in Scotland, now because scientist was also there. That's why Jack immediately tells him about this, and tells him to get out of there as soon as possible, because a huge storm of snow is coming toward you, the scientist says after being upset. Now it's too late, there is no use, nothing is going to happen. Then he says goodbye to Jack. Later, we see that a huge snowy storm is coming toward him. Because of being affected by it, the scientists of C and his colleagues die. It rains heavily in New York. Due to this, Sam and his colleagues get stuck there. That's why a guard tells them all to go to a library to save their lives. Later, Sam sees a very big tsunami-like wave coming toward him. His friend was standing very close to it. Meanwhile, he quickly saves his friend and brings him to the library. Then we see the very bad situation of New York City. Water had spread everywhere. Later, Sam calls his dad Jack from a phone in the library, and tells him about the bad situation of the whole New York City. On which Jack says, no matter what happens, you and your friends don't leave this library and go anywhere, and you don't worry my son, wait for me. No matter what happens, I will definitely come to take you. Later after, Jack meets the President at his senior's request, and gives him all the information about the research given by him. After this, it is decided that in this time of trouble, he will help the people of the north, and all the people who are stuck there, after taking them out of there, and they will send them to the south area. Because the conditions of the south were better than the north. They were not so bad. After this, Jack takes both his friends, and leaves for New York to bring his son back. The temperature in New York was so low, that all the water that was there had frozen, and all the people stuck in the library, they are scared to see this terrible sight. One of them, a policeman, looks at some people outside. They were walking toward the south. Seeing this, all these people also think of going to the south from the library. But Sam forbids them to do this, and tries to convince them that we will survive. He tells that my dad is a scientist in weather. I have talked to him, and he has said that if we stay here, it will be suitable for us. My father is a climatologist. He works for the government, because the temperature is falling very fast, and if we go outside, we will be killed because of the freezing, and yes, believe me, and my dad has promised that he will come here and save us all, but none of them believe Sam's words. After this, except Sam's friends and some people, everyone leaves from here. The government, which is busy sending people to the south, because they try to save as many people as possible. Jack and his friends, who were going to New York, their car broke down suddenly because of the snow on the way, so now they had to go on foot. On the other side, Sam and other people, to save themselves from the cold, start burning all the books in the library. The president dies due to these bad weather conditions. So, the companion of the president is made the new president. Jack and his friends reach a snowy area, where it was snowing so much, that even the big buildings were covered with snow. They were walking on those buildings. While walking, Jack's friend's foot slips from a building, and because of falling down, he dies. Because of his death, Jack and his friend are very sad, even unwillingly. They have to move forward to save their lives. On the other side, Sam's friend's health suddenly starts to deteriorate. So, Sam goes to a water plane with his two friends to take medicine. Because that plane had come out of the sea, now, they were taking medicine from the plane. Suddenly the wolves attack them, who had run away from the jungle and came here. They bite Sam's friend and injure him, but Sam somehow saves his two friends and brings them back to the library. Later, they give the medicine to Sam's friend. He feels very good after taking it. Jack and his friend were still walking forward, but suddenly Jack's friend falls down. Because of the cold, he was unconscious, so Jack decides to stop at a place. In the space, the two scientists now see the snowstorm on the ground decreasing, because of which the snowstorm also stops in New York, because of which Jack's friend comes to his senses, and they start walking again, and then very soon they reach the library near Sam. Here the two father and son are very happy to see each other and hug each other, to save his son, Sam, and the other people. Jack calls his senior and asks for help. Then the senior tells this to the president. This time, the new president quickly sends a helicopter to save Jack and the other people. The helicopters reach there soon, and everyone is saved. Meanwhile, when they look down from the helicopter, they find out that many people are still alive in New York, but these were the people who were inside the buildings, and those whom we had forbidden to go to the library, they were dead. Later, we see that the weather has gradually started to clear up. After a while, everything becomes normal as before. So, the new president is apologizing to everyone on TV for his mistake, because in the beginning when Jack told him about the change of weather, he did not listen to Jack. He says, if I had listened to Jack at that time, then maybe today I would have saved many people. I am sad that many people were killed, and an important thing, this was shown to us by nature. It was a small sample. If we do not value our land, if we play with it, if we will not control dirt and such things, then we will keep getting such punishments, because nature has shown us that we humans are nothing in front of it. This film ends here with the heart-touching message of the president.